Hi there, and welcome to What the Hell Was That? I'm your host, Todd Baker, and the purpose of this show is to discuss the important and perhaps not so important issues that involve each and every one of us. Now, this is not a show for the closed-minded. It's an open forum to say things that many people don't necessarily want to hear. Let's put it this way. If you really like Rush Limbaugh, you're probably going to hate this. So let's get to it. Now, seeing that I've already mentioned his name, let's start with the father of misinformation, Rush Limbaugh. Now, Mr. Limbaugh was invited to join us this evening, but his secretary said something about it being National Donut Day and he just couldn't be disturbed. So now I know that he has a lot of faithful and, may I say, very disturbed listeners, and, I applaud his ability to surround himself with edited sound bits of video footage to make his warped opinions sound legitimate. And I'm sure a suit and tie, Republican, what's in it for me, racist, right-wing audience goes to sleep every night thanking their upright, white, Anglo-Saxon God for Mr. Limbaugh's tainted version of the truth. And that's their constitutional right. I mean, the KKK are allowed to spew their inbred philosophies on national news, so, why shouldn't Mr. Limbaugh be allowed to slander a government that simply wants to provide the same opportunities for all people instead of pandering to the bloated, elitist, white-collar opportunists like Mr. Limbaugh and his right-wing Nazi bastard buddies? Now, I have no problem with fat, closed-minded racists misleading a flock of sheep over the cliff of propaganda. The truly frightening aspect of his show is that he's pushing off his fantasies as fact. Now, although this is not a new concept, it is a dangerous one. I mean, just look at his predecessors. Hitler, Stalin, Reagan, all world-class manipulators. And in the end, they had to be put to sleep. So why wait until Mr. Limbaugh goes too far? Now, I mean, the individuals themselves are harmless without the brainless clones that blindly follow slogans and catchphrases. So what I'm suggesting is just a little observation on Mr. Limbaugh and his followers. I mean, the CIA had no problem checking up on the Branch Davidians from time to time. And let's face it, all David Koresh really did was collect a few weapons, make a little money, and sleep with a few 14-year-olds. Hell, the NRA's been doing that for years, and I've never seen the man giving them any fits. So what am I really trying to say? It's pretty simple. We as a country need to start being responsible for ourselves. We need to start thinking independently. Don't blindly follow others when your heart and mind tells you to disagree. Sure, we all need leaders to express ideas that are similar to our own, but when we start letting those leaders speak for all of our opinions, we need to stop, reevaluate our own opinions, and speak for ourselves. Okay, enough on Rush Limbaugh. He's a first-class waterhead anyhow, plus he's a bad dresser. We have other things to discuss. Now, something else, I've been watching the Rush Limbaugh show lately, and he was talking about family values and how that the Democratic Party is starting to talk about family values more. Now, if you recall, during the Reagan-Bush regime of 12 years, they frequently pushed family values, and I don't think it's really the same thing, and I'd like to kind of discuss the differences between Republican family values and Democratic family values. Now, let me say first off that I don't think you should be a Democrat, Republican, whatever. It doesn't really matter because basically any person in government is going to rip you off in the end. So I'm not trying to say that Democrats are better than Republicans, Republicans are better than Democrats. Basically, they're all just milking the system for their own benefit. So now that that's being said, let me just go on. Now, why are the Democrats using the phrase family values now? Well, Bill Clinton is losing ground on the popularity front. I am a Clinton supporter. I will come out and say that. However, I do think Mr. Clinton needs to kind of come out and actually say things the way that they really are. He needs to get the longtime Republicans back on his side. Now, basically, the Republicans have been in control for 12 years, and they're pissed off. They're out of a job. They're unemployed. And there are too many people that are afraid to do something different. Now let's take a look at Mr. Clinton's administration after the first year. Now, one of the first things that Mr. Clinton did as President of the United States is to lift the ban on gays in the military. Something that most people felt was a necessary thing to do. If you really want to come right down to it, we've had gays in the military since the beginning of time, so why not just come out and say it, and what's the big deal? Well, if the government had bowed down basically to the big brass every time there was a policy change, the military would basically still be a collection of rednecks named Jethro playing with their pistols. Well, maybe we haven't come that far. But the point is, I think really it was a basic problem. It was something that just could have been taken care of in 30 seconds, and the media and the military and the Republicans jumped on Clinton's back and said, hey, you shouldn't do this. This isn't right. It's not fair. You know, I think we should just kind of get on with it and let him go. That's the problem with Clinton's administration so far as I can see it, is the fact that every small thing that Clinton tries to do, he's had opposition to the entire way. We should really just get off Clinton's back and let him try to get some things done. Now, obviously, the guy's a human being. He's going to make mistakes just like everyone else. But I think if we give him the opportunity to stretch out and do some things differently as compared to the Reagan-Bush administration, I think we can get a lot of things done. Now, speaking of the military, I have a personal problem with folks in the military. Now, if you are a member of the armed services, I applaud your decision to do such a thing. I think it's an admirable career. I have nothing against people who join the military. I do, however, have a problem with people who complain about being in the military, about the problems they've had, about the horrors that they've seen in wartime, and just all the terrible atrocities that have gone on serving in the military. Well, I'm sorry, I don't feel bad for these people. I mean, after we fought that ridiculous war in the Middle East, we had people coming back saying, oh, I've suffered this and I feel so bad, and now, you know, I can't do this and I can't do that. I need medical benefits now. I'm sorry. If you join the military, it's your fault. Buy the ticket, take the ride, suck it up, and live with it. No one asks you to sign a piece of paper. There's no draft anymore. It's your choice. Now, the people that I feel truly sorry for are the ones that are forced to join the military because there's no other way for them to afford to go to college. Now, if these people actually had an opportunity to get the education like some people in this country do, they probably wouldn't have to go and serve for their country and die for their country, and it's unnecessary. What we need to do is get a program in this country where people who want to go to school can go to school. Simple as that. Same thing with the police. Now, there was a police officer here in Columbus that was shot recently. I certainly feel bad for him and his family. I don't condone police shootings. I don't want to get the wrong idea. But basically, it's a job. See, now, here's the thing. You chose to be a police officer. Therefore, you should know there's a risk of getting shot. So if you get shot, don't come crying to me. You could have worked as a pizza delivery person. You could have worked in radio. You could have done a million other things. But no, you had to be a police officer. Buy the ticket, take the ride. So, on that happy note, we need to start checking up on the backgrounds of these people in the police department a little bit closer. You know, maybe if we had like an IQ check as well as the ability to shoot a gun, we'd be getting higher quality people serving on the police force in Columbus. Now, like I said, I don't want people to get the wrong idea. I'm not trying to slander the police department of Columbus. I think they're doing an excellent job. It's a hard job, it's a tough job, but as I said, it's a job, and if you don't like it, get out and work for the utility company or something like that. You know, you're getting benefits, you're being paid well, stop complaining. Now the problem with the police in this country, we had a large problem with the LA riots, and a lot of people blamed the police, a lot of people blamed the people who were living in Los Angeles. And I do think that we have a problem with hiring the wrong kind of people to be police officers. We need to check up on these people's backgrounds because they truly are responsible to uphold the peace. And unfortunately, a lot of times with the problems with the police officers is the fact that these people are unstable in the first place. They have an unhappy family life. They joined the police department because they had nothing better to do. And basically, these are the people that are harassing innocent citizens on the street. And like I said, this is an opinion program. If you'd like to come on the program and voice your opinions with me, you're more than welcome. We'll have a telephone number probably at the end of the show. Sometime in the near future, I plan on having a few guests as compared to me just rambling on for half an hour. But since we have no guests tonight, I'm going to keep on rambling. So anyhow, I was watching the 700 Club the other night, and I'm not sure if we have any 700 Clubs out there, in the 700 Club fans in the area, but they were doing a telethon, raising money for the 700 Club, which is admirable. It's great, raising money for, whatever cause you're working for. But my question is, now, they're raising money for Jesus as far as I know, and my question is, why does Jesus need money? I don't think he does. And, if God's truly watching over these people like they say that they are, what do they need the money for? Why do they need this organization? I really don't think there's too many people in this country, at least, that haven't heard of Jesus, so why do they need to raise money to spread the word of Jesus? Now, if these people are truly the protected few, like they claim they are, then what are they worried about? Why are they so concerned about what other people think and do? It's your belief. Please keep them to yourselves. I mean, if these people are truly going to be saved at the end of their life, or, hell and damnation comes and the earth is destroyed and God chooses his few people to come up and take them with him, then these people are pretty much protected. Why do they even have jobs? We could put all these people on a big island somewhere, give them no food, no water. They should be fine because they're protected by God, right? And that's what we should do. We should make a state for these people so they don't have to keep having telethons and raising money and bothering me while I'm trying to watch television. And that's just my opinion. So anyhow, a lot of people say that they're God-fearing. I have a question about this. Now, if these people truly believe everything that their book tells them, wouldn't they be Satan-fearing? I mean, what are they afraid of God for? If they truly believe that they're, going to be helped out along the way, I just don't see the concern to be worried about God. Switch to 2. So anyhow, and another question is, I don't know if this has ever happened to you, but I have a lot of problems with people always trying to save me, coming up and saying, we can save you, we'll pray for you, and we can help you find Jesus. Well, do I really look that hell-bound to these people that unless they help me right now, I might as well just get on the bus going south? I mean, why do they bother? Why is it their business to try to save me? Save yourselves. I mean, the basic problem with the religious people in this country, and don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to downgrade any people's religious beliefs. If you believe in God, that's fantastic, that's wonderful. I have my own personal religious values, and I like them, and I try to keep them to myself, which is all I'm simply asking of other people. Whatever you believe is your own right. That's a constitutional right. You can believe whatever you want to. Just don't push it on others. It's no one else's business what you believe, and you shouldn't be trying to bother other people and push your information on them. Now, maybe I don't want to be saved. Maybe I don't believe in their God. And the only problem is most people can't understand this concept. To them, they're the saved people, and they need to spread the word of Jesus. Well, that's fantastic. But my problem is, you can't really tell me that their God is the only God. I mean, there's a lot of other religions out there. There's, Taoism and Buddhism and thousands, literally thousands of others. So what makes these people feel that they're right? I don't know. I just can't grasp the concept of only one person having the right answer. And I truly believe that one of the major problems, not only in this country, but in the entire world, is organized religion. I think organized religion should be banned altogether. Now, I really can't say banned because, like I said, it's a right, and you should be able to believe and do and think whatever you want. However, I do think there's a lot of problems that come from organized religion. Let's take war, for instance. Let's start with the big one. Now, we've had so many wars all over this world based on religion. Now, most religions, from what I understand, are based on love and the prospects of helping one another. And I don't see how war fits into that. I don't see how my God would want me to kill someone else for him. I don't believe it. I don't see it happening. So I think we should basically eliminate religion from all aspects of public life. I mean, if you want prayer in school, fine. That's okay. You can read your Bible for 20 minutes. I don't care. However, I want the same right to pray as I like to pray. I mean, if I want to bow down, drink blood, and masturbate to my God, I should be allowed to. And there are just too many issues in this country that overzealous Christians are butting into. One of the biggest concerns and issues in this country, very heated debate, something a lot of people don't like to talk about, is abortion. Now, I know abortion is a very sensitive subject. A lot of people are very sensitive to talking about it and don't like to talk about it. That's okay. I'm not going to say whether I'm pro-life or pro-choice or whatever. I don't think it's anyone's right, and I think you should keep your opinions to yourself. However, I do think that we have no right to tell anybody what to do based on religious beliefs when it comes to abortion, for the simple fact that not everybody believes in the same God. So if you're trying to tell me I can't have an abortion, well, I can't anyhow, but you shouldn't have an abortion because your God says it's not right, well, my simple answer is, well, what if we don't believe in your God? How can your God control what we decide to do about abortion? So, here's my theory. Here's what we should do. I'm going to eliminate the abortion problem for everyone right now. We should have a big vote in the country. Everybody who's over 18 gets one ballot. You either vote pro-life, pro-choice, or abstain. Now, if you abstain, you have nothing to say about the issue, and you'll never be allowed to ask about the issue of abortion again. Now, if you vote pro-life, fine. If it turns out, let's say there's 3 million people in the country. 1.51 million people vote pro-life. Fine, I'll agree with it. I'll go with it. If the majority of Americans want abortion made illegal, they want to take the rights away from women, that's fine. I'll go with it. That's okay. Now, I hear a lot of women out there crying, no, 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 that's not right, that's not right, that's not right. But wait, listen, hold on. Now, what we should do is, for every person that votes pro-life, that wants to take the rights of women away, that want to control other people's bodies, they have to put their name on a list. So let's say we have 1.51 million people on this list, and abortion is made illegal, and women have had their rights taken away from them. The first woman that wants to have an abortion, and now cannot, we go back to the list. So Joe Blow, pro-lifer, number 1 on the list, is now responsible for not only the birth of that child, they have to pay for the delivery of the child and then raise the child until age 18. So let's say 1.52 women want to have abortions. You get 2 kids, 3 kids, 4 kids, and on and on and on, and you will be responsible for these children. And unless you are willing to take the responsibility to pay for these children from birth until death, put your face back in the Bible and stop bothering me, because it's not your concern. Unless you're willing to take responsibility for these children, you have no right to tell other people what to do. So anyhow, enough on abortion. Let's go to another light, easy topic. Let's talk about prostitution for a little while. Now, my question is, why is prostitution illegal? I mean, you can buy cigarettes, you can buy alcohol, you can buy drugs, although it is illegal, you can still buy them. Why do we have to wait to find a woman who actually wants to sleep with us? I mean, in some men's cases, it could take years to find a woman like that. Wouldn't it just be easier to go up to a woman, looks attractive to you, maybe you know her, maybe you don't know her. You can go up to a friend and say, hey, you know, I know you're going out with Bob, but I got $200. I think you're an attractive person. What do you say you give me a shot? You know, if it's not that great, fine. We'll never do it again. You know, you don't have to take the money. But if you feel like making a little extra cash, why not just enjoy it? I'll take you out to dinner, we'll go dancing, we'll have some fun, have some laughs. You already know me, you like me, why not sleep with me? What's wrong with offering a woman, a little bit of cash for a little bit of pleasure? It's a nice trade-off, and I think it works. So let's say you go out and actually sleep with this person, pay him $200. If it's good, fantastic. If it's not, never happens again, she keeps the $200, you're out the door. But if she likes it, let's say the next time, it's only $100. Next time, it's only $50. Who knows? You can actually work your way down into an actual loving relationship. I just think it'd be a lot nicer for men. It's more of an option. I mean, if men were actually forced to follow the traditional rules of dating and matrimony, the guy always ends up paying much, much more than any prostitute could ever charge. Basically, no matter which way you look at it, you're going to have to pay. All I'm asking for is the right to negotiate. So that's what I think. Let's talk about marijuana for a little while, shall we? Now, marijuana, as you know, is an illegal substance in this country, and it's slowly coming around. I hope that within the next, I'm gonna go on the edge here. I'm gonna make a wager. I'm saying in the next 10 years, marijuana will be legal for personal use. Now, the reason I say this was the Clinton administration recently has been considering lifting the ban on marijuana use for medical purposes. Now, of course, Bush and Reagan didn't want anything to do with this because that would actually help people by using marijuana. Now, of course, Nancy Reagan, being the poster child for Valium that she is, just say no. You know, I guess it's okay to use alcohol and cigarettes according to the Republicans because they make a lot of money, but no, we don't want drugs in our society, which is really kind of, well, it's bullshit when you come right down to it. I think we need to come down and face the facts. And let me just run down some of the facts for you. Cigarettes kill over 400,000 people a year. Tobacco is also one of the largest money-making industries in this country. Marijuana has never, ever killed a single person due to its solo use. Now, sure, you can smoke a joint, drive home, crash it, and kill somebody. Yeah, I understand that. But you cannot overdose on marijuana use. It's impossible. It's a natural herb. It should be legal. Now, I'm not going to say that there's, it's a totally safe drug. It's not the greatest thing in the world. Obviously, you'd be better off by not using it in most cases. But I just don't think it's as dangerous as the government wants you to believe. I mean, I like marijuana, but I'm not going to go like jump in any empty pool like the commercials would have you believe. I feel really upset about the Partnership for a Drug-Free America. Now, this is the organization that puts together misleading commercials to try to dissuade children from using drugs. Now, it's a lovely thought. I understand it. I understand where they're coming from, but I think they're using the wrong message to portray to children. If you've seen the commercial, I'm sure you probably have, there's a lovely young woman in a bathing suit diving on a diving board. Now, the analogy that the commercial would have you believe is marijuana would make you dive into an empty pool. I'm sorry, I've never smoked a joint and dove into an empty pool. It just doesn't happen. It's like the other commercial where they show you a picture of a monkey and they say, we fed a monkey cocaine for 30 days and 30 nights. And during that time, the monkey would simply go back to the cocaine over and over and over again. The monkey wouldn't eat, he wouldn't sleep, he wouldn't drink. He simply wanted the cocaine. Well, maybe if they gave the monkey some food every once in a while, he wouldn't be doing all the blow, I just don't think these are really commercials, and they're misleading the public, and it's a scary, scary thing. We should try to do something about this. So that's basically why I'm doing this show. I'm trying to provide a little common ground on some of the issues that maybe aren't being covered as accurately as they should. Now, I'm not saying my opinions are right. They're simply opinions. It doesn't matter if I'm right or wrong. If you believe me, that's fine. It doesn't matter to me. It's totally up to you. I'm just trying to express my opinions, just so maybe we can get a little even balance. I'm just tired of watching the Rush Limbaughs of the world view their slanted, closed-minded opinions, and it's just not right. So anyhow, let's go back to marijuana. Like I said, it's not the safest drug in the world. I admit it. I mean, there are certain things you should not do when smoking marijuana. Number one, shave. I don't care if you're using an electric razor. It's just not a safe thing to do. Don't do it. Number two, grocery shopping. Because trust me, you can spend thousands and thousands of dollars in a Dorito aisle alone. I've done it. And don't bring a credit card. Don't bring a credit card when you're high grocery shopping. You'll spend way, way over your limit. Not that I would know that because I don't smoke marijuana, but anyhow. Number three, answer the phone. Because it's always your parents. Always your parents. Why is that? Why do your parents always call when you're high? After you get done smoking a big fat bong, your parents always call. I just don't get it. It just doesn't make sense. It's always like, hello, honey, how are you? And they always think you have a cold. Honey, it sounds like you have a cold. I don't know why, Mom. I can't figure it. I've had a cold for 3 years, folks. My folks just don't get it. They don't get it. But I am. So what else can we talk about? I don't know. It's just a scary, scary thing. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. The reason I'm doing this program basically is the fact that I've been either fired or quit from most decent jobs all over Columbus. I've worked as an Italian cuisine mobile specialist, delivered pizza. I've worked in a numerous amount of telemarketing organizations all around Columbus, most of which were legitimate. I've done just pretty much you name it, and I've done it. And I'm trying to put my experience back into the show and try to help folks out there just kind of get along, and that's all I really want to do. So on to the next subject. I'd like to talk about condoms in schools. Now, there was a big controversy in New York City because an administration in New York wanted to place condoms in schools for the use of children so they could pick them up without parental consent. And a large number of these people were very upset at the possibility of their young Billy or Janie picking up a condom at school. And it looks like the New York public schools are going to reverse their position, and condoms will either now not be available altogether, or they will be available with parental consent. Now, my advice to you kids out here in Columbus who are confused about sex, who are not quite sure how to get a condom, whether to talk to your parents about it, maybe you can't get a note, maybe your mom's working, maybe you're just kind of embarrassed. Here's what you do. You don't need to go to the nurse. Take $3, go to Rite Aid, and buy them yourself. It's not that big of a deal. But I just don't think the condoms in schools are that much of a concern either. I really don't think the opportunity of picking up a condom at your public school is that big of a concern. Why are parents so worried about their kids learning about sex in schools? Unfortunately, there's way too many parents out there who are embarrassed to talk to their children about sex in the first place, so their kids have to go to the school. They have to learn from friends, and they have to learn from their teachers, and I think that's a good thing. We should have health ed that is a little bit explicit. Maybe we should bring some blow-up dolls in, or we could have like live demonstrations, things like that, which would be another reason why prostitution should be legal. See, now, if you have questions about sexuality as a young man, what are you going to do? You got to read a book, you got to talk to your parents. No one wants to talk to their parents about sex. It'd be so much easier to save up your allowance money, go out and buy one of your friends for an evening. I mean, it just makes sense to me. So anyhow, I'm going to wrap up this show now. We've hit some of the major topics this evening. I certainly hope to expand on the show as the weeks go by. Like I said, if you have any comments or you'd like to join us on the show, you're more than welcome to. We're going to do some different formats here and there, try some different things. Perhaps in the next couple of weeks we could have our own telethon, raise money for Satan or something like that. I don't know. Just kind of even out the odds. But look forward to having some guests on. Some future topics I was thinking about for the program would be why Columbus radio sucks. That's one. We could talk about just a myriad of topics, and I'm looking forward to your comments, and hopefully you've enjoyed this program. I'm rambling now, so we're just kind of like wrapping it up. But this has been What the Hell Was That? I'm your host, Todd Baker, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks.